Blessings and welcome to HEKA Arcane Apotheca. So in my previous video on the difference between essential oils and spell oils, I went through just a few of the differences. Now we're coming to what do we do with these spell oils? And this is one of the most frequently asked questions of anyone coming to my store is what do I do with these oils? How do I use them? Especially if you're not used to using spell oils in general, if you're just used to using aromatherapy oils. These are going to be slightly different. And one of the main things that you need to remember with a spell oil is that spell oils, as I mentioned before, they're using the whole plant. The whole plant is being used in the oil. So it's the whole energy of that plant is being used in the oil. You have different curios that may be used in the oil. Different essential oils which also will be used in the oil. Some are just for smell and others are to use that essence in there as well. So all of these things are going to be combined into the oil for a specific purpose. So depending on what the oil's name is, will obviously delineate what the purpose is going to be. And that's going to help you into how you use that oil. Now, the energy that's going to be in that plant, the energy that's going to be in that oil is going to be just for that oil. So the intent, the visualizations, the programming of all of those components into that spell oil is for that specific intent. So if that intent is, say, to draw money, then all of those herbs that are used in that oil will be for drawing money. If it is for, say, love, then all of those herbs will be used with the intent of drawing love. If it's for protection, again, all of those herbs, all of the things contained in that oil, and as it's being constructed, will be for protection. Now, sometimes you'll have similar herbs or the same herb which can be used for protection, it can be used for money and can be used for love. But we are telling that plant that this is what it's going to be used for. So this is going to be the same when you actually use the oil yourself. So if you are using an oil for protection, let's say, now if you have a person in mind or a situation in mind that you want to be protected from, then this is when you tell the oil that you are going, that's what you want, okay? So that would mean you program the oil, you program it with your intent, you program it with your wish and your need, okay? And this is done through visualization and words of intent, commanding words, and you actually feeling that. So you have to do a little bit of work as well. It's not just put this stuff on and off you go. You have to let the bits and pieces know what it is that they are supposed to be doing. So you need to say if it's for protection, you need to place that into the oil and say this oil is for protection from Joe Blow, okay? And then you would place that around where you feel that you need to be protected by. And depending on what oil it would be, will obviously delineate what, how and the method of transfer for that energy. So the energy that was within the oil will then be transferred onto those parts, and with your visualization of your intent will mean that it will then be programmed with its goal in mind, with your goal in mind. That means that if someone else touches the oil that it's not intended for, then there's nothing that's going to happen to that person. And that's one of the things that I think people are a little bit worried about, is that if they put something somewhere that someone else is going to touch it and they're going to have something bad happen to them. And that's not the case. If you have a specific person in mind saying that Joe Blow is barred from entry to this house, then Joe Blow is the only one that it's programmed to bar from this house. Everyone else, is fine. Okay, so you can have friends and neighbours come over if that's what you usually have. But this person here, it's kind of like a a doorman at the door that has a list of names of people that aren't allowed to come in, and you've just let the doorman know who is and who isn't allowed to come in. So that's programming the oil. If it's for protection, again, you use that visualization and telling that oil what it is for. So it's barring this person, and you see that person who cannot enter. They're barred from entry. It's almost like an electric fence around. If they tried to get close, they get electrified. All of those sorts of things you need to put into that oil as well. It's making that oil your own. It's initializing that oil and making sure that it's specifically for you and you alone. So now once you've got the idea of how you put your intent, you program the oil for what it is that you want, your goal, then how else do you use it? So you can use it to anoint a candle. Now I'll go through anointing a candle in another video, but you just place some oil on your hands, rub that into your hands, thinking about what it is that you are wanting, and then you will rub the candle and get the oil on the candle, and then push that intent, push that goal, push the need that you have, that you want this oil to help convey. You want this candle also to start bringing into manifestation. You push all of that into the candle, and then you can place other herbs on them if you like, but this is just oil and candle. So you push all of that into the candle with the oil, and then light the wick, and obviously keep going with your intentions and your visualizations. So there's one, using it for candles. You can also put it onto things. So as we said with candle, you can put it onto things. So if it's a protection oil, you can put it onto what you would like to have protected. So it could be your car. So you would place, say, just a dot on the four corners of your car, front, back and sides. You can even place some on your actual seats as well. And when you're doing this, you're seeing that the car is protected. It is usually like a big bumper bar all the way around the car, that it's in this mesh of protection around it, so nothing can bang into it, nothing can take it, nothing can do anything to your car, because it is now protected in this and sealed from malice and from harm. A little bit goes a long way, so you don't need to pour the oil all over the car, just a couple of dots or a dot on each side, and that's the main thing when it comes to using these oils. You don't need to slather things with oil, you don't need to be dripping with oil. A little bit goes a long way. So you can put it on your car for protection, you can also put it on your door handles for protection, on windowsills for protection, and you can incorporate any protection symbols or sigils that you have that when you're doing this. A simple dot is fine, but if you have a protective symbol that you use, then that's even better. You are bringing in more into your magic. So the more that you can layer in is good. So visualization, seeing yourself protected, seeing that wall of protection come up when you place that oil there. So walls, windows, doors, windowsills, walls as well, if you like. Your imagination is going to be your only hindrance. So anything that you think that you will need to do, you can put it on your letterbox at the front of the house. You can even anoint crystals that you may then bury in your house or around your house. All of these sorts of things just help to layer and add on that energy when you're doing these things. When you put something onto something, again, you can put it onto door handles and whatnot. If you want it to be transferred, that energy transferred, that spell transferred to someone else. So if it's for a spell where you want to influence someone else, so maybe it is a lover or potential lover, or it may be someone you work with, a co-worker or a boss, or there may be a bit of tension there or whatnot. You can place a little bit of oil onto something that they would touch, like a door handle, car door handles, if you know what car that they have. It may be a door handle at work, it may be your front door handle, it could be anything. And again, less is more. Please don't slather stuff all over the place, because people are not going to want to touch anything that looks slimy. So a little bit goes a long way, and if you can place that on a door handle that you know that they're going to touch, even when it comes to touching your hands. So you can place some of that oil onto your hands, and in a job interview, if you have a success oil or a get the job oil, you can place that on your hands and then handshake with your employer or with your prospective employer. You don't want to be dripping in oil. You don't want to be that weird drippy, sweaty, smelly person that no one wants to be near, because you smell weird and you're dripping in oil. So a little bit goes a long way. You don't want to be weird and clammy. You can shake people's hands. You can put oil onto money. So if it's a money oil, you want more money, then you place a little bit of oil on your money. You can place a little bit of oil on your bank statements, any financial statements. And as I said, a little bit goes a long way. You don't need to pour it on there. You can use it to anoint a photograph. So if there's a photograph of someone, so say that you have someone that a family member that is going away on holiday, and you want to make sure that they are protected while they're on holiday. You have a photograph of them, and you can place some protection oil on that photograph. You can then, or you can write on the oil, or with the oil on the photograph, that this person is protected. They are wrapped in the loving arms of whatever deity that you happen to be working with or connected with. They are safe and protected. Place it on their photograph. You would see that they're safe and happy, and again, there's this bubble around them that no harm can befall them. They are, they're safe and happy, and they leave for their trip, and they're wonderful and happy on their trip, and then they come home from their trip, and everything's fine. So that's a way that you can use that. You could also use it if it's for a love spell, a photograph of a person or someone that you want to influence. Spell oils can also be placed upon you. As I said, placing it on your hands. You can also place it upon yourself. So for a love oil or an attraction oil of some kind, you can place it on your hands. You can place it on your heart chakra. You can place it behind your neck. You can put it anywhere. You can maybe put a few drops in some of your body moisturizer if that's what you want to do, and you can moisturize your whole body. But again, as I said, a little bit goes a long way. You don't have to drown yourself in these oils. The intent and the conveyance of that intent through the oil is all that you need. Okay. So a little bit maybe in your moisturizer, all over your body, or just a few dots here and there on your pulse points, on your chakra points. Depending on what the oil is and what it is that you want to do, you can start to layer those things in as well. In the respect of a protection oil, again, you can place it on your solar plexus, maybe on your heart, definitely again behind your neck, because I always say that if something is going to come at you, it's going to come from behind. Any predator will always try and get you from behind when you're not looking, when you're away from your peripheral vision. So always put a little bit of oil behind your neck. You can also put a little bit of oil in your shoes, so a couple of little drops or a little dab. Again, don't pour stuff in there. So a little bit in the shoes for protection, or if it's for someone that you want to get to leave, maybe someone who is overstaying their welcome in your house, a couple of drops of F-off oil or any of those oils that get people to move on quickly. into their shoes will help them to scamper off and find someone else to sponge off if that's what they're doing. The same thing of putting oil onto door handles, onto different bits and pieces. If there's someone who's overstaying their welcome, then whatever they touch will just make it, just make them uncomfortable in the area and they want to leave, okay? You can also use the oil for placing into washing or washing of floors or whatnot. So again, if there's a success oil, money oil, you can place a couple of drops into your water for washing the floors. This is in your rinsing water. You wouldn't do it in your specific wash water. So you wash the floor and then you would then get a new fresh bucket of water, put a few drops of success oil or money oil or home sweet home oil or whatever it happens to be into that water, and then wash the floors again or wash the walls or whatever the case may be with that water, with a couple of drops. Again, you don't want to put a lot in there. You don't want it to be all slimy, and wash with that intent of what it happens to be. You can put a couple of drops in your clothes washing detergent. So if you have, you want a come to me oil, you can put it into some clothing that you may want to wear on a date. Then you can layer that with wearing it on your body. You could maybe put a little bit into your moisturizer and slather your body with that come to me. So you're layering on all of these magics into different things. If you wanting, say, you're going for a job interview and your clothes, not only are you putting some of the oil onto yourself, but you can wash your clothes that you're going to wear for the job interview with a couple of little drops of oil in the washing detergent, and wash your oils with Success or Get the Job oil or whatever oil that you're using for that specific purpose. Protection, same thing. You can wash your kids' clothing in some protection oil so that when they go to school or when they go out, they are protected. Their clothing becomes an armor of protection. You can mix it up, do whatever you need to do. Remember, less is more. You don't want to have everything all oily and gross. And have some fun with it. Use your imagination. Think of different ways that you can do it. So I hope this was informative. I hope this gave you a little bit of an understanding and a bit of an idea as to what to do with these oils. And blessings.